It is the last week of voters registration. Question now is, has the COMELEC hit its target? Meanwhile, supporters have taken to the streets over the weekend to show love for their candidates. A meeting between Davao City Mayor Sara Duterte and former Senator Bongbong Marcos has raised speculation on a possible last-minute tandem. Oil prices continue to climb for a ninth straight week, but the Transportation Department remains firm against increasing fares. Fast, focused, and fearless. Here's a roundup of stories we're watching now. I'm Sean Yao. We only have a few days left before the voter registration for the 2022 elections comes to an end. To give us the latest, we have COMELEC spokesperson JIMENEZ joining us now via Zoom. Good afternoon, James. Thanks for joining us. Did you hit your target for the extension of voters registration? How many more registrants did you get? I believe the target was about 350,000.
Right. I actually think that we might have exceeded the target. I don't have the final figures in yet, but early indications show that we're closer to 400,000 than 300. So it looks like we really did exceed our expectations even for this extension.
Right, so with just a few more days left, of course, it is until Saturday, October 30. Are you expecting more registrants to come in, or have you been observing more and more registrants still applying or getting a slot?
Well, there's still more coming in, actually, and we expect that the crowds will be getting larger as we get closer to the deadline.
Yes, that is the usual behavior. Anything, unfavorable that happened during this extension?
Well, not really. I think for the most part, everyone was cooperative. There were a few complaints about people not being able to, get accommodated after having stayed in line for quite a long time. But then again, if you look at the number of people that were actually in queue, you'd probably guess that that was the likely outcome. Again, considering the lateness of the hour.
Right. Okay. Fair enough. Now, shifting over to a more other election-related topics now. What was the COMELEC's reaction to the different motorcades and caravans that have been held in support of several presidential candidates, of course, outside official campaign period? Will the COMELEC consider these early campaigning?
Well, actually, the instinctual reaction, of course, is to complain about premature campaigning. Unfortunately, premature campaigning is no longer a punishable offense. So all of these activities, the caravans or the rallies that are being held left and right, all of these are actually legal. They strike a chord deep inside of us where we understand that it is premature campaigning, but there's really nothing we can do about it because the law itself doesn't penalize this kind of behavior.
Just to make it clear for everybody who is tuned in, was there a change, or has it been like that ever since?
No, there has been a change. There has been a change. The Republic Act 9369 changed the definition of an official candidate from one who has filed his certificate of candidacy to someone who has filed his certificate of candidacy and then made it to the campaign period. Basically, the new law, Republic Act 9369, says that candidates are only considered official candidates when the campaign period starts, which means that everything every law, every regulation that applies to candidates will find application only at the start of the campaign period. And this is such a massive change, and it has created a loophole that allows premature campaigning to happen.
All right, thanks for clearing that up. So there is a loophole that exists now, and the COMELEC, of course, cannot do anything unless there is legislation, of course, that will change that again. Now, while we're on the topic of loopholes, the biggest loophole, I think, of this upcoming election is substitution. James, are aspirants allowed to change their party and then substitute after transferring parties?
Yes, they are allowed to switch parties. And the reason for that is because we have a weak political party system. Our political party system doesn't really emphasize certain protections that a lot of people have said over the years is necessary, such as, for example, the prohibition against political turncoatism. So right now, people can actually switch political parties in order to make substitution happen. And yes, to a certain extent, that weakness of the political party system is in fact a loophole.
Right. So with that loophole, regarding that loophole about switching parties, is there a deadline for that? Or would that deadline also be November 15, or is there actually no deadline?
There is no deadline for switching parties. In fact, you could switch parties even after November 15. What November 15 is a deadline for is the filing of substitution. So if you're going to switch parties in order to substitute for another candidate, then yes, your practical deadline is November 15. You have to switch by then in order to be eligible to substitute.
Okay, that's talking about people, I guess, or candidates within the same party, right? So if you are not from the same party, what about all this talk of sliding up and sliding down? Can candidates still do this at will until November 15, or is there also no deadline for something like that?
No, it's still November 15, and you're right. Candidates can do it at will. In fact, the procedure that I outlined about switching parties isn't just available only to people within the same party or sliding substitutions. A person who's running independent now can actually join a political party and then substitute for someone before the end of the substitution period, again, which is November 15.
All right, so what I'm hearing is definitely anything can still happen until November 15, James. But right now, senators, I think, are planning to file a bill to remove this withdrawal as one of the grounds for substitution. Is the COMELEC backing this move?
Not really. We see substitution as a necessary remedy under the law. What would perhaps be a better idea is if Congress were to introduce some controls, some sort of regulation, because right now the law is pretty wide open. It simply says that you can be substituted if you withdraw and you belong to a political party. Perhaps additional restrictions could be put in place, again, short of actually removing that right, because that right, we believe, is essential to the elections.
All right, and as we, of course, approach 2022 and the official campaign season, can we expect public debates to be held online instead of in person? And will the COMELEC be releasing guidelines on this soon?
Yes, we're working on debates, and yes, they will be online. Unfortunately, we will probably not be allowing a live audience. However, we will make sure that the debates are available and accessible to everyone.
All right, as usual, thank you so much for your time and your insights and for sharing with us your tight schedule for the upcoming elections. COMELEC spokesperson James Jimenez, thank you.
Yep.
And Partido Reforma has shared Senator Ping Lacson's three-point agenda should he become president. Spokesperson and Congressman Romeo Acop said that Lacson's priorities include addressing the COVID-19 pandemic. Lacson believes this will prevent the country from resorting to external loans. Apart from this, Lacson is also planning to touch on the country's ongoing dispute with China in the West Philippine Sea. Two billiard legends are backing Senator Manny Pacquiao's campaign for the presidency in 2022. Pacquiao paid a visit to Efren Bata Reyes and Django Bustamante in Mandaluyong. The three sports icons played a friendly 9-ball and chess match. Pacquiao said that he is grateful for his co-athletes' support and promised to continue helping Filipino athletes. And the Makabayan bloc says the non-inclusion of Nery Colmenares in Vice President Leni Robredo's senatorial slate is a lost opportunity. The coalition said Colmenares would have helped strengthen the opposition against a possible Marcos-Duterte alliance. Despite this, Makabayan thanked Robredo for meeting with them last week to discuss their platforms. The group also said they will continue to cooperate with the Vice President and her running mate, Senator Kiko Pangilinan, on their campaign. Davao City Mayor Sara Duterte has thrown her support behind Bongbong Marcos's bid for the presidency after the two met in Cebu over the weekend. Men Los Baños with the story.
Davao City Mayor Sara Duterte insists that she did not discuss a possible tandem with presidential aspirant Bongbong Marcos in the 2022 elections. The two met in Cebu last week after attending the birthday of Marcos's cousin-in-law Yeda Romualdez.
Ang amua lang nga giistoryahan na sa pagkakaroon is how HNP in Davao region can help his bid for the presidency.
However, according to Duterte's close friend, attorney Bruce Rivera, the meeting could be a sign of a possible partnership in the coming elections.
Yun yung official buyo namin doon nung meeting na yon. Ang nakita lang namin sagot sa kanya na patapusin niyo muna yung araw na to bago ko pag-isipan.
However, the mayor remained firm about running for re-election during her most recent interview.
No, I do not have plans to run for president. Sorry, I cannot comment on that. But you can ask him since he is the one who is a candidate for a national position.
For one analyst, a possible Marcos Duterte tandem will be a showcase of machinery. Associate Professor Jean Encinas Franco of the UP Political Science Department said Mayor Sara being a Duterte has its advantage.
At least in the minds of the people, she is the daughter. It means that the people who identify themselves as Duterte supporters, even if sabihin na ang admin candidate is si Bongo, then mas sa isip nila, mas si Sara pa din.
However, should Sara choose to be Marcos's running mate, she also has to go through other tough contenders. Franco said seasoned Senators Tito Soto and Kiko Pangilinan as well as Dr. Willie Ong are all strong opponents. Meanwhile, PDP Laban's presidential bet Senator Bato de la Rosa also met with the mayor. This is to remind her of the November 15 deadline for substitution. The senator openly said he is willing to give way to Sara if she considers running for president. But Rivera and other experts do not see this happening anytime soon. Reporting for News 5, Mean Los Baños, we are One News.
The Health Department launched its Healthy Pilipinas website today. DOH Health Promotion Bureau Director Dr. Beverly Haas said the Healthy Pilipinas aims to become a unified data platform on health, illnesses, and diseases which could easily be accessed by the public. Apart from addressing health literacy, the website will also seek to enable supportive environments for health promotion through tips, articles, and other downloadable materials. Health experts are also reminding the public to be wary of fake information regarding these illnesses.
So ito pong Healthy Pilipinas website, ang meron po siya mga impormasyon na kumbaga digested na, no? So mas mabilis maintindihan, simpleng mga salita. We just hope to be the roof, no? Parang isang bubong na nagbibigay ng bahay para po sa napakarami nating partners na nagtratrabaho, no, against misinformation.
Here's a quick look at today's other top stories. Prices of petroleum products will be going up again for the 9th straight week tomorrow. Diesel is set to go up by 45 centavos per liter and gas by 1 peso and 15 centavos per liter. The Transportation Department rejected calls for a fare hike amid rising gas prices. DOTr Secretary Arthur Togades said the commuting public should not bear the brunt of rising fuel costs. The agency is now considering fuel subsidies as an alternative to help PUV drivers. A 1 billion peso budget has already been allocated for this. And James Michael Tyler, the barista who played Gunther in the hit sitcom series Friends, has died of prostate cancer. According to his manager, Tyler passed away peacefully in his home in Los Angeles on Sunday. The Friends actor was diagnosed with prostate cancer in 2018, which later spread to his bones. For more updates, visit News 5, The Philippine Star, and Business World online. Visit our website, onenews.ph, for more in-depth analysis. You can also catch One News on the Signal Play app. Register for a free account at www.signalplay.com and stream One News live anytime, anywhere. Masks on, wash hands, and stay safe, Philippines. I am Sean Yao. We are One News.